The sky was on fire. Above the planet Zenera, giant ships battled in the black sky. Bright lasers cut through clouds. Explosions shook the ground. Buildings fell like toys. Screens filled the air. The war had come to XEN era. In the middle of this chaos, a little alien girl sat alone behind a broken wall. Her name was Kaya. She was only 7 years old. Her eyes were big and full of fear. She held a small crystal necklace in her hand, the last thing her mother gave her. Kaya's people were called the Zens. They were peaceful and gentle. They loved the stars, the light, the music of the universe. But now their light was dying. The attackers were the Kralux, a brutal, cruel species. They came from the dark side of the galaxy. They destroyed everything in their path. They wanted the power hidden inside Zenera's core. A power only the Zens could touch. Kaya didn't understand all this. She only knew her home was gone. Her parents were gone. Her city was gone. Now she was hiding in the ruins, cold and hungry, her face covered in dust. She hadn't eaten in 2 days. She hadn't spoken in even longer. Above her, another explosion lit up the sky. A ship crashed near her hiding place, sending metal and smoke everywhere. Kaya didn't cry. She had no tears left. Suddenly, her crystal necklace glowed, just a little, a soft blue light. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Far above the planet, a small human scout ship flew by. The pilot, Captain Raynor, was on a mission to scan old battlefields. He was not part of the war. The humans had stayed away. But his ship caught a strange signal, a very weak one. Only one word came through. Help. Raynor leaned forward in his seat. What was that? He asked. The signal repeated. Help. Help. He looked at the map. That's from Zenera? But no one's left alive down there. He paused. Then he made a choice. I'm going in. His ship turned and flew toward the dying planet. Everyone told him not to interfere. But something about the voice. The signal felt different. On the ground, Kaya heard a strange sound above her. Not like the loud warships. This one was small, soft. She looked up and saw a new ship coming down. It was silver and smooth. It landed not far from her. She crawled out, curious but afraid. The ship opened. A man stepped out, tall, wearing armor, but not like the Kralux. His face was not covered. He had kind eyes. He looked around, scanning the ruins. Then he saw her. Kaya froze. Raynor saw the small girl, dusty, thin, and shaking. His heart sank. He stepped forward slowly and knelt down. It's okay, he said gently. I'm not here to hurt you. Kaya didn't understand his words, but his voice was calm. Kind. She didn't move. She held her necklace tightly. Raynor slowly reached into his bag and took out a small food pack. He placed it on the ground and stepped back. Kaya looked at it, then at him. After a moment, she crawled forward and picked it up. She opened it and ate quickly. She hadn't tasted food in so long. Raynor smiled. There you go, he whispered. You're safe now. Kaya looked up at him. For the first time in days, she felt something new. Something strange. Hope. But far above, in a Kralek command ship, a red light blinked. Unknown human vessel detected. A deep voice growled. Near Sector 12, the ruins. Another voice replied, cold and sharp. Send a drone, no survivors. Back on the ground. Raynor stood and looked at the sky. He tapped his comms device. This is Captain Raynor to base. I found a survivor, a child. She's not human. The voice from base replied, do not engage. Return alone. That world is lost. Raynor looked at Kaya, now sitting beside his leg, still eating, still silent. He replied, I'm not leaving her here. The voice on the radio went quiet. Raynor turned to Kaya. Come with me, he said softly, reaching out his hand. Kaya looked at it. Her small fingers trembled. Slowly, she reached out and took his hand. Above them, in the dark sky, something moved fast. A Kraluk drone. Flying toward their location. The hunt had begun. *start. The small fingers in his hand were shaking. Captain Raynor had held many hands before, soldiers, survivors, even dying friends, but this was different. This hand was light, small, and cold. It belonged to someone who had lost everything, and still, she had the strength to hold on. Her name was Kaya. She didn't speak. She didn't cry. She only looked around with wide eyes full of fear and wonder. Raynor gently pulled her along the broken path. The air smelled of smoke and metal. Fires burned in the distance. The sky was still red from the war above. They needed shelter. Fast, Raynor led Kaya into a collapsed building, an old Zen school, now silent and broken, inside. It was dark and dusty, but for now it was safe. He placed his gear on the floor and looked at Kaya. She sat quietly, legs tucked under her. Her crystal necklace still glowed faintly, pulsing like a heartbeat. Raynor sat down across from her. "Kaya, right?" he asked softly. She didn't answer, but her eyes flicked toward him. "I'm Raynor, Captain, from Earth." Still silence. He smiled a little. "I talk too much, huh?" Kaya tilted her head. Then she reached into her pocket and took out a small glowing stone. She placed it on the floor between them. The stone began to float. It showed a tiny image, her family, smiling, standing under the Zenera sun, her parents, her home, her life before the war. Raynor stared at the hologram. "They were beautiful," he said. Kaya's lips moved, just a little. Her fingers brushed the light image. Then she shut it off. She turned her face away. Outside, something was watching them. A Kraluk drone hovered over the ruins, its red eye scanning the ground. Inside the shelter, Raynor's wrist device beeped. He looked down. Motion detected. Hostile. He stood quickly. "We have to go now." Kaya looked up. Fear returned to her face. Raynor grabbed his pack and picked her up. "Hold on tight." They ran through the rubble as the drone closed in. Red lights flashed above them. Raynor fired his pulse rifle. The drone dodged and fired back, blasting the ground near their feet. Dust flew everywhere. Kaya screamed, the first sound she had made. Raynor turned and fired again, this time hitting the drone's wing. It spun and crashed into a building. They kept running. Finally, they reached a small cave hidden behind thick vines. Raynor scanned the area. No signals, no movement. Safe for now. He set Kaya down. Her hands were over her ears. She was shaking again. Raynor crouched in front of her. "You did great," he said. "Really, you're strong." She didn't look at him. So he sat beside her, silent. After a while, she reached out and touched his sleeve. Just a small tap. Then she whispered one word. "Raynor." He turned, surprised. "You spoke." Kaya nodded. Then she whispered another word, one that froze him. "Kray. Lock." She touched her head, then her necklace, and then pointed up, toward the sky. Raynor realized something. The crystal she wore wasn't just a keepsake. It was a beacon. The Kraluks were tracking it. He stood quickly and scanned the stone. It gave off a signal, weak but steady. That's how they found her. That's how they found him. He looked at Kaya. "You're not just a survivor," he whispered. "You're the reason they came back." But why? What was in her? Far above the planet, the Kraluk command ship received a message from the fallen drone. A voice hissed. "The child has the core light. She must not reach Earth." The Kraluk leader growled. "Send the hunters." "End them both." Back on the surface, Raynor patched a signal to his human base. "I have new intel," he said. "The girl. She's connected to something powerful. The Kraluks are after her, not the planet. Her." The reply came after a pause. "Do not bring her to Earth. Repeat. Do not bring her here." Raynor stared at the sky. Then at Kaya, now asleep in his jacket. Safe beside him, he turned off the comms and whispered, "I'm bringing her anyway." The night was too quiet. Captain Raynor didn't trust silence. Not after what he'd seen. He sat at the edge of the cave, rifle in hand, watching the stars. They looked peaceful, but he knew better. Beside him, Kaya slept with her head on a folded jacket. Her small chest rose and fell gently. Her necklace glowed faintly with soft blue light, still pulsing, like it had a heartbeat of its own. Raynor whispered to himself, "What are you, little one?" Suddenly, a shadow passed overhead, no sound, no warning. Raynor looked up, eyes sharp. Nothing. But he felt it. Something was close. He scanned the area. His wrist monitor showed a strange signature nearby, not a drone this time. Something alive. Deep in the trees, a Kralik hunter crouched low. Its skin was black and slick like oil. 4 arms, 2 eyes that glowed red. It watched the cave and smiled. Back inside, Kaya began to shake in her sleep. A strange light flowed from her crystal, not just blue now, but silver and gold. Her hands twitched. She was dreaming. In the dream, she stood in the ruins of her city. Her parents stood far away, smiling. But as she ran to them, their faces melted into shadows. Behind them, the Kraliks came, laughing, reaching for her. She screamed. And in the real world, the cave lit up with blinding light. Raynor turned fast. Kaya floated off the ground, surrounded by glowing shapes. Symbols, words, energy he didn't understand. Then it stopped. Kaya dropped back down. Her eyes opened wide. "I saw them," she whispered. "They're coming." Raynor stared at her. "What just happened?" Kaya sat up, breathing hard. "I feel them. Their hate, their fear. You can feel the Kraliks?" She nodded. "They don't just destroy. They take." Raynor's face darkened. "Take what?" Kaya's voice was soft. "Light, life, memory." Outside the cave, the Kralik hunter moved closer. It wasn't just tracking the crystal anymore. It was tracking Kaya's mind. Raynor grabbed his gear. "We can't stay here." He helped Kaya up. But she stopped him. "Wait." She walked to the cave wall. Her fingers touched the stone, and it lit up under her hand. A small hologram appeared. A map. But not just of the area. A map of underground tunnels below the ruins. Escape routes from the old Zen days. Raynor smiled. "You've got surprises, kid." Kaya smiled back, just a little. "I remember places. My people left messages in the stone." They followed the tunnels, deeper underground. The air was damp. The walls glowed softly from Kaya's touch. She led him through like she had done it before. Maybe in dreams. Maybe in memory. Then, they reached a large chamber, once a healing temple. Broken now, but quiet. Raynor set up camp. Kaya walked slowly around the room, touching the walls. Then she stopped. Her hand hovered over a small glass pod. Inside it was a dead Zen elder. Kaya whispered, "He was our light keeper. He died saving the crystal." Raynor knelt beside her. "What does the crystal do?" Kaya looked at him. "It keeps the memory of all my people, every story, every song, every feeling. It's inside me now." Raynor realized something then. Kaya wasn't just a survivor. She was a carrier, a living archive. That's why the Kraliks wanted her. They didn't just destroy life, they erased it. Far away on the Kralik ship, a voice screamed across the control deck. "Contact lost with Hunter 1. The leader growled, "Then send them all." Back in the temple, Kaya sat cross-legged, her necklace in her hands. The air began to hum. Raynor stood guard near the entrance, gun ready. Then he heard a voice behind him. "I knew humans would interfere." Raynor turned fast, weapon aimed. A tall alien stepped from the shadows. Not Kralik, not Zen, something in between. A hybrid. "I am Varric," the figure said. Once a Zen, now something else, Kaya gasped. He betrayed us, Varric smiled coldly. You still hold the crystal. That was foolish. Raynor stepped in front of her. You'll have to go through me. Varric pulled back his hood. His face was half burned, half metal. Oh, I plan to. Kaya didn't blink. Her eyes were locked on Varric, the half Zen, half machine standing in front of her. His face looked like her people, but cold, hollow, burned. He was once one of them. Now he was something else. She whispered. Why? Did you leave us? Varric tilted his head, almost smiling. Because your people were weak, dreamers, listeners, hiding in light while the galaxy burned. Kaya stood slowly. We shared, we healed. He stepped closer. And that's why you lost. The Kralix showed me what power truly means. Control, fear, survival. Captain Raynor stepped between them, rifle raised. Back away from her. Varric looked amused. Still protecting her, human? You don't even know what she carries. Raynor narrowed his eyes. She carries hope. That's enough for me. Suddenly, Varric moved, too fast. He jumped, grabbed Raynor's gun, and shoved him into the wall. Sparks flew. Raynor fought back, punching hard. But Varric was stronger. Metal arms. No pain, Kaya screamed. Her hands glowed with bright blue light. She raised them and shouted, Stop! A shockwave burst from her chest. The walls shook. Light pulsed like thunder. Varric flew backward, hitting the stone floor. Raynor coughed and stood, eyes wide. Kaya was floating again, eyes glowing silver. She's waking up. Varric whispered, It's already begun. Raynor grabbed Kaya, pulling her down gently. It's okay, I've got you. She blinked fast, breathing heavy. I didn't mean to ... I know, he said softly. You saved me. They turned back, but Varric was gone. Only ash and smoke where he fell. Raynor scanned the area. He was scouting, marking this place. Kaya looked around. They're coming. They rushed through the tunnels again. Deeper now, older, colder. Are we going? Raynor asked. Kaya pointed down. There's one place left. The core gate, my people's final light. If I reach it, I can stop them. Raynor shook his head. How? You're just a child. Kaya looked at him with calm, sad eyes. Not anymore. Outside, the Kralix ships were landing, dark steel. Monsters ripping through the sky. Soldiers poured out like shadows out in the ruins. A human drone hovered, watching them from a distance. It sent a signal to Earth Command. Unauthorized human-protected alien located. Danger level. Extreme. Earth's response came in seconds. Captain Raynor has gone rogue. Neutralize if possible. Do not allow alien to reach human space. Deep in the old tunnels, Raynor and Kaya reached a giant metal door, covered in alien symbols. Kaya walked forward, placing her hand on the center. Her crystal glowed, and the door opened. Inside was a huge underground chamber, glowing blue. Floating in the middle was a sphere of light, alive, humming like a song. Raynor whispered, What is that? Kaya walked slowly toward it. The core of memory. It holds the truth of my people. And the truth about the Kralix. Suddenly, a voice echoed around them. I told you not to bring her here. Raynor turned. His commander stood in the tunnel, gun raised, flanked by 2 human soldiers. You're breaking every rule, Raynor. She's a threat. She's a child. She's a weapon. Kaya stood still, looking at both sides, humans pointing guns. Kralix closing in behind. Her heart beat faster. Her mind felt heavy. So many voices. So much fear. She stepped forward. I'm not a weapon, she said clearly. But I will not run. The Kralix appeared in the doorway behind them. Now. Everyone had weapons aimed. Raynor stood in the middle. Between both sides, he looked at Kaya. Then he said something no one expected. I trust her. And if that makes me a traitor, so be it. He dropped his gun. Kaya walked to the core and touched it. Light exploded across the room. It washed over humans, over Kralix, over everything. Memories poured into their minds, songs, voices, feelings of ancient love and loss, the pain of war, the beauty of peace. Even the Kralix paused, stunned by what they saw. Some of them fell to their knees, overwhelmed, but the commander raised his gun again. I won't be tricked by light shows. He fired. Raynor jumped in front of Kaya. Gunshot echoed. Raynor fell. Kaya screamed. Her light burst outward, brighter than ever before. And everything went white. Everything was silent. No guns. No screams, no fire, just light. Endless, soft light. Kaya stood alone in a field of stars. Not real stars, but memories. They floated around her like gentle fireflies. She could hear voices from long ago. Her people, laughing, singing, teaching. She was not in the cave anymore. She was not on Zinera. She was somewhere in between. She turned slowly and saw him. Captain Raynor. He stood a few steps away, holding his chest. His armor was torn, his face pale, but he was smiling. You did it, he said. Kaya ran to him, but as she reached out, her hand passed through his. No, she whispered. You're not gone, he said. You're waking up. I'm just behind. Tears welled in her eyes. Raynor touched her shoulder, or tried to. Listen, you have something inside you, a gift, not just memory, not just light, something bigger. Kaya looked around. Why me? Because you chose hope when no one else did. Raynor's form started to fade. Don't be afraid, he said. And then he was gone. Kaya gasped and opened her eyes. She was back in the core chamber. Everything was still glowing, but softer now. The Kralix were unconscious. The human commander was gone. The other soldiers lay dazed, blinking slowly. And beside her, Raynor's body still bleeding. Kaya crawled to him, crying, No, 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 please. She took his hand. It was cold. She held it tight and closed her eyes. She didn't know what to do, only what she felt. So she focused, and the crystal around her neck cracked open. A warm pulse of energy spread from her fingers into Raynor's skin. His wounds glowed blue. The blood faded. His chest rose slowly. Raynor coughed. He opened his eyes. Kaya gasped, smiling with wet cheeks. You're back, Raynor groaned. What did I miss? Kaya laughed for the first time. You missed everything. The human soldiers stared, speechless. One of them whispered, She healed him. How? Another said, I thought her kind couldn't do that. Raynor sat up. They couldn't. He looked at Kaya, but she can. Above ground, something changed. The Kralix ships stopped firing, their weapons powered down. Their soldiers began walking back, confused, disconnected. Inside them something had shifted. The energy Kaya released, the gift, had touched even their minds. It didn't erase their hate, but it showed them something else. Memory, light, peace. And for the first time, they paused. Earth Command received no more threats from Zinera, only silence. Then a signal, a voice. It was Kaya's. I am Kaya of Zinera. I do not bring war. I carry memory. I carry healing. I carry hope. Days later, Kaya stood on a human ship, looking out at the stars. Raynor stood beside her, his arm still bandaged but strong. You sure you want to do this? He asked. Kaya nodded. The galaxy doesn't need more fighters. It needs rememberers. He smiled. Then let's make sure it remembers the right things. Back in the ruined chamber, the core had changed. Its light faded, not because it was dying, but because it had passed on its gift. Kaya was the new keeper, but she was something more than that now. She was the first of her kind. To become more than memory. She had become healing. Peace is a strange sound. For Kaya, it was not silence. It was choice. For the first time in her life, She could choose what to hear, not the screams of war, not the fear in her heart, but something softer. The sound of people, breathing. Talking. Not fighting. The human base on Outpost 9 was quiet, cautious, and still. Soldiers walked past her slowly. Some nodded. Some stared. None spoke. Kaya stood at the center of it all, wearing a simple gray coat and her crystal, now cracked but glowing gently. She looked small. But no one saw her that way anymore. Captain Raynor stood in the war room, arguing. You can't just attack them again. They backed off. They're confused, not regrouping. The commander slammed a folder down. They're Kralux, Raynor. Monsters, they'll never change. They already did. I saw it. She showed them something. She's dangerous. Your emotions don't change facts. Raynor walked out, fists clenched. Kaya waited for him in the hallway. You lost again, she said gently. He nodded. People fear what they don't understand. Kaya looked up at him. Then we make them understand. Raynor smiled weakly. You talk like a general now, she replied. No, I talk like a student. And they've forgotten how to listen. That night, Kaya sat alone in a quiet room, staring at a HOLO-map. She reached out to touch a blinking red zone, an old Kralux stronghold. She whispered, They haven't responded in 2 days. Raynor stood behind her. Maybe they're afraid too. Kaya looked at him. Then this is the moment. What moment? The one where history chooses who we are. Meanwhile, deep in the Kraluk territory, Varric returned. His body was damaged. One eye missing, his metal arm sparking. I failed. He told the dark chamber. The Kraluk leader stepped forward, ancient, armored, cruel. You didn't fail. He said, You led her to her power. Varric blinked. You planned this? The leader hissed. She is the last light. If we can't control it, we destroy it. Back at the base, Earth Command sent one final order. Begin strike in 12 hours. Destroy all remaining Kralux. Recover alien child if possible. Alive or not. Raynor read the message. His heart sank. Kaya looked at him. It's time, she said. Kaya walked into the central command deck. Alone. Every soldier stopped moving. She stood tall. If you fight them now, you don't destroy the enemy. You destroy the last chance for peace. A general stepped forward. Why should we listen to you? Kaya raised her hands, and from her palm, a new light formed, not from the crystal, but from herself. It showed images, memories from the Kralux. Themselves. Their pain, their loss, their own fear of being erased. Not monsters. Not demons. Just another side of the same story. Raynor stepped beside her. She's not here to win a war, he said. She's here to stop the next one. Silence. Then a voice from the back. Even if she's right. What if they don't stop? Kaya turned slowly. Then I'll go. I'll walk into their base, alone, and speak to their leader. Raynor grabbed her arm. No, it's suicide. She looked at him. I have to try. 12 hours later, Kaya stood at the border of the last Kraluk outpost. Alone. Her hands empty. Her light dimmed. She stepped inside. The Kralux aimed weapons, growled, moved in fast. Then Varric stepped forward, limping. You came to die? He asked. Kaya shook her head. I came to make you remember who you were before the war. She raised her hands, and a soft hum echoed. The light wasn't violent. It didn't burn. It soothed. One by one, the Kralux dropped their weapons. Some stepped back. Some stepped forward. Even the leader came forward, slowly. He looked at Kaya. What do you want, child? Kaya met his eyes. Not surrender, not power, just an end. Outside the base, human ships waited for the green light to fire. Inside, no one knew what would happen next. Would this be peace? Or betrayal? Then, a signal came from the Kraluk base. 2 words. We listen. Asterisk. The first time Kaya reached out her hand. She was shaking. She was afraid. Alone, broken, but someone took it anyway, and now, across the stars, millions were watching, waiting to see what hand she would offer next. A great hall floated in space, a place where war never reached. Flags of many species hung high. Humans, Zens, even Krelliks, for the first time in galactic history. Enemies sat at the same table. At the center stood Kaya, not the scared girl hiding behind rubble. Not the frightened child clutching a crystal. What? Something else now. A bridge, a voice, a light. She stepped forward. Her hair was tied back, her jacket simple. Around her neck, the broken crystal still glowed, but the light came not from it. It came from her. She took a breath and began. My name is Kaya. I come from a world that no longer breathes. I carry its memory. I carry its pain. She looked at each side, human generals, Krellik elders, silent, unsure. I am not a soldier. I was never trained to fight, but I stood in fire. I walked through silence. I saw hope in the eyes of a human who should have walked away. A soft murmur rose in the hall. Raynor sat near the back, his wounds healed, his uniform clean. But his eyes were tired. Proud. Kaya raised her hand. This is the hand I offered in fear, a long time ago. She paused. And this is the hand I offer today. She opened both arms. No weapons. No lies, no control. Just the truth. Krellik stood, tall. His voice was rough. You showed us things, feelings, memory. But how do we know this isn't just another trick? Kaya answered softly. Because if I wanted revenge, you'd already be gone. A long silence followed. Then the Krellik lowered his head and placed his hand over his chest. One by one, others followed. Even the human commanders. Outside, the stars kept burning. Inside, peace was written, not in ink, but in action. The war officially ended that day. But more importantly, so did the fear. Weeks later, Kaya stood in a garden on Earth. It was her first time feeling wind that wasn't toxic. Her first time hearing birds instead of sirens. Raynor sat on a bench nearby. Never thought I'd see this place again, he said. Kaya smiled. You never gave up. He looked at her. Neither did you. They sat quietly. Then Kaya asked, why did you take my hand that day? You didn't know me. Raynor didn't answer at first. Then, slowly he said, because someone once took mine when I was lost, alone, a different war. A different time. Kaya looked at him. And now? He smiled. Now I take yours again, but not to save you. He stood up. This time I follow. Later that night, Kaya walked to a large gathering hall, full of children from different planets. Some Zen, some human, some Krellik. They sat in circles, laughing. Listening. Learning. Kaya stepped into the light. She didn't speak as a leader. She didn't act like a hero. She sat down, took one child's hand and said, let me tell you a story. It began with a girl who had no hope. Until a human took her hand.